Dear viewers, welcome to the Roundup, usually weekly, covering indie games, reveals, releases, patches, and everything in between. Let's dive right in. Starting with reveals. A new trailer caught my eye from Ravenbound, an upcoming roguelite open-world ARPG where you are a vessel. You respawn after you die. The reason why is that you are doing some raven's bidding. In return, the ravens give you new powers, which I'm sure you can upgrade in between runs. I like the open world here, and traversing it is done both in raven form and human form. The game has sort of launch pads that transform you into a bird, and then you can search the world for camps of enemies to kill until you find a few stones, I think it is, which then unlock a room to the boss of this world. And then it's rinse and repeat for a bunch of other biomes. Could be fun enough. That's not everything though, because there's a card system as well with a deck that can improve your current as well as future runs. A 16-minute gameplay trailer with dev commentary is what got revealed and what you're watching right now. Quality is pretty bad for some reason, but not much I can do about it. There's no release date yet. There is a Korean fantasy novel series by Jang-do Lee called The Bird That Drinks Tears. It draws inspiration from Korean folklore, which is rather unique in the West, Korean folklore. Apparently, in Korean folklore, naga are prevalent creatures, and you're seeing a few cut in half in this bloody trailer. The fantasy series is turned into a video game so far, with the same name as the books, but that might change. It is done by Krafton, the devs from PUBG, and this is a concept trailer to show the tone and style they're going for. I'm really digging this vibe. It is weird, grim, dark, tons of gore, and I love the dimmed color scheme as well. It looks awesome, honestly. This project is really far off. The devs are still recruiting members to get this show on the road with clearly no release date in sight. Nonetheless, this has the potential to be a smash hit because it can draw inspiration from a whole series of books. It has an existing fantasy world, and the first impression here is definitely great. Then announcements. Scorn, the weird first-person horror game that got so many excited by its preview, is launching 1 week earlier than planned. Pretty interesting. This isn't something you hear all that often. Delays, sure, but a game launching sooner than planned. The devs haven't given an official reason for the change, but chances are that A Plague Tale Requiem, the long-awaited second installment in the Plague Tale franchise, have something to do with it, launching on October 18th. Both games will be on Game Pass as well, vying for attention. Another game vying for attention in that regard is Vampire Survivors, which goes into full release on October 20th. There's not much that needs to be said about this game, honestly. It's €5, it's reviewed at 98% positive rating with over 117,000 Steam reviews. Indie Game of the Year, pretty much, and it's great on Steam Deck too. I mean, what more do you need to know? More release date reveals, because Icy Red announced they release at October 24th. Icy Red is a top-down roguelite twin-stick shooter, stylized, violent, quite a bit of fun, and there's something unique there. I played the demo, was quite impressed. It's very short, you can still play it, but it does give you an idea about how the game plays, and I like it. The combat is fast-paced, there's a grappling hook to move quickly to the next target. The devs promise a ton of guns, so yeah, there you have it. October 24th. Even more release date announcements. Undecember is going to release in October 12th. Undecember is a hack-and-slash action RPG in which players are able to surpass the conventional limits of skills by endlessly combining variety of skill and link runes. Become a rune hunter and experience the joy of farming and growth. That's the pitch on Steam. This game is a Korean ARPG. It is already launched in Korea, and with the global release on October 12th, you can enjoy the game as well. Steam states it's a free game, which always raises a few questions regarding monetization, but at least you can just try it out. Next to a campaign and endgame chaos dungeons, the game has multiplayer online aspects as well, like 8-player raids and guilds for up to 50 people. It makes this game very reminiscent to something like Lost Ark, rather than to traditional ARPGs like Diablo or Path of Exile. It could be fun, but it could also be very pay to win. I might check it out though. The devs from This War of Mine and Frostpunk are making a new video game that was announced some time ago called The Altars. Recently, the game director, Tomasz Kisielewicz, has given some interviews revealing more details about the game. The game revolves around protagonist Jan, who wants to get back to Earth, creating alternative versions of himself, the alters, in order to do so. The origin of these alters have to do with the what if question. What if I would have done this? Would the situation play out differently? What if I would have finished my medicine education? Would I be a doctor now? A very interesting concept, and I'm curious to see how that is interwoven in the communication and collaboration of Jan and his alters. There's some talk about the genre of the game, basically saying there isn't a genre just yet, as they don't want to be boxed in. That makes sense, also given a game like Frostpunk, which they made, which blends multiple genres together like RTS, city builder and survival. The devs have drawn inspirations from a movie like Moon, which is rather apparent, but they also dove into the medical and psychological side of things when it comes to multiple personalities, because they have to be different from one another but also somewhat similar, as they are alternative versions of the same individual, like in certain personality disorders. I find this very fascinating stuff personally, and while these inspirations don't always necessarily translate into a video game, in this case the devs already made 2 fantastic video games, and this seems their most ambitious project yet. In terms of a release date, there is not much to go on, but as the game director stated, it is launching at least before the end of 2025. That is a long time away, but it will release at least before Star Citizen does. Metal Hellsinger, the FPS game where you have to shoot on the beat of metal songs, has implemented a modding system that lets you play the game to any musical genre. This is just too good to be true, really. The mods are free, creators can go their merry way, and the first sneak peek of what you could expect from these mods is given by the developers themselves, playing some smooth jazz while you're plowing your way through hell, killing many monsters on some blue notes. I'm personally waiting for someone who does Britney Spears, Hit Me Baby One More Time. Wolcen dropped their October devlog, and there's some interesting stuff in there. Chapter 4 is in the making, which we already knew. It's another campaign act, and I'm looking forward to that actually, because the story is pretty good in Wolcen. The devs also tease plenty of other stuff coming after this act, indicating that Wolcen is still heavily in development, which may be kinda surprising, but I still feel it's a decent game, all in all. Another change coming is the legacy character fix. In case you're unaware, for some reason, the characters created during the Blood Trail season were completely disconnected from characters created before that, the legacy characters, and that was clearly very annoying, of course. Chapter 4 will once again merge all your characters into a single realm, so there's no difference between legacy and Blood Trail characters. Looking forward to that. Last and also least, there will be animations in the character menu. And if any of these games look interesting, be sure to wishlist them. It helps the devs out a lot. Similarly, you can subscribe to this channel, which helps me out a lot. Proceeding with the patch Plaza, bringing an overview of patch news. Indie ARPG Striving for Light gets a co-op mode, either local or via Steam remote play. That's really cool actually. I didn't honestly expect this game to start doing multiplayer. One character will be ranged and another melee. You both have a skill tree, you need to think carefully about your leveling and weapons, and it could be a lot of fun. Legends of Ellaria announced upcoming changes to their game and listed 10 features that are up for a change or rework for this strategy indie game. It is stuff like player controls and how that feels with animations, loading screens, rebalancing of skills, performance, which was absolutely abysmal back in the day, AI behavior, you got the idea. The most surprising thing about this post, however, is that the devs are still making updates for this game. It's been a while since it launched and I can't imagine anyone still playing this, which is backed up by the Steam charts. In fact, the game only ever had 62 concurrent players, and these days only 1 or 2. I'm a bit confused here. You could argue something similar for Wolcen, but that game still has massive untapped potential and daily around 200 concurrent players. That is worth something, at least. For Legends of Ellaria, you'd think the devs simply move on to the next game, but somehow updates are still planned. Alaloth, Champions of the Four Kingdoms, already announced it, but it is also now implemented mouse and keyboard support for this early access game. That's great news for those without a controller, although it's probably still a good idea to play this as it was originally designed, which is with a controller. The biggest patch last week came from the Slormancer called The Great Forge. I've been playing that patch an awful lot and I will continue doing so during my holiday in Italy. After that, expect some content for this on the main channel. I want to review the new endgame mode, make a guide on how to tackle the forge with tips and tricks which I've gathered while playing, and I have a build that I'm happy with too, which I want to share. Then releases, quickly looking back at what released last week. Terra Invicta, the early access complex space strategy game, did very well, being rated by Steam at 84%. It's not cheap, 36 euros over here in the Netherlands, but apparently already worth it. Moonscars released, the Souls-like platformer, for 20 euros. It is also available on Game Pass. Steam user rating sits at 74% and OpenCritic has it at a 76%. Domekeeper, the cute indie game where you need to dig to find resources to build defenses for your dome, is available for 18 euros. Steam loves it, rating it an 86% with over 1,000 reviews. OpenCritic has this at a 77%, a little lower but still very decent. Grounded released into full release, the Shrunken Kids survival game from Obsidian Entertainment, and it's pretty good. I'm playing it myself on Steam Deck via xCloud, it's a lot of fun. OpenCritic rates it with an 84 mighty and Steam users award it an 86% even. It's available for 40 euros or on Game Pass. Beneath the Mountain dove into early access. In Beneath the Mountain, you play as the king of a new dwarven civilization seeking to find their fortune beneath the mountain. You dig your way through the mountain, encountering many dangerous foes along the way, all while defending your kingdom from periodic orc invasions. The demo was fine but horribly optimized. It's an early access for 21 euros, quite a bit for a game like this, and Steam has it at mixed reviews, 64%. Users are mentioning a lack of tutorial, poor performance and difficulty as the main reasons for downvoting this game. Let's look ahead what's releasing this week. It is an extremely quiet week with only Marauders releasing into early access on October 3rd. Marauders is a tactical first-person multiplayer looter-shooter set in a sci-fi universe. As a space pirate, work solo or in a squad of up to 3 other players to navigate a hostile battleground, hunt for loot, craft new weapons and gear, and salvage what you'll need to survive. It seems interesting enough, I suppose, this one. It had some sketchy marketing mechanics which I didn't particularly like, such as pre-ordering the game, which can only be done on their own website just so you can play the beta, which is 2 days in advance of the early access launch. Complete bullshit. Also, be aware there will be wipes during early access. I appreciate the devs putting that in the early access info. Talking Steam Deck and demos, I'm still playing and trying to complete There Is No Light. It's a struggle for me, honestly. I don't really like the game at all, and putting that aside, I don't think this game is particularly good even if you like the genre. It plays really well on the Steam Deck, so there's that. It is very well optimized and all, and the Steam Deck compatible checkmark is well deserved. I just feel the game itself isn't all that amazing. Steam users and critics agree on that point, by the way. I've played a bit of a similar game as well on Game Pass, Moonscars, also streaming it on the Steam Deck. I felt pretty much the same about that one. It's okay, so far nothing special after playing a few hours. I don't think I will continue playing either way. Up next, free games. Epic is nothing, but Game Pass does, of course. Moonscars was added, I just talked about that. Valheim was added, the immensely popular Viking survival game. If you were ever on the fence on that one, here's your chance. Let's Build a Zoo got added, a pixel art zoo management sim with a bit of tongue-in-cheek humor it seems. Could be great for a chill Sunday afternoon. And finally, Despot's Game, a dystopian army builder auto battler for whatever that's worth. I have no idea, but it does look kind of fun actually. An ideal Game Pass game, just to try it out for a bit, see if you like it. Time for some personal updates. What have I been up to? Well, the Slormancer mostly. It's been quite a lot of fun, the new patch. And tomorrow, early morning, I'm flying to Italy for a week of holiday. I will bring the Steam Deck, but I won't be making any content. I don't expect to have a roundup next week because of that. Definitely not on Sunday because I'm not home yet on Sunday, but I think I'll just skip the week for now. Yeah, and also, ladies and gents, I've been trying my hand at shorts, and maybe you've seen them, maybe you haven't. I'm not really sure where these things show up, but if you did, and just give me some feedback regarding this. I think I could use that. Tell me what you like, tell me what you don't like, tell me if you like shorts in general or not. Just trying out a few new ways to maybe, kickstart the channel a little bit more. And that's it. If you have any other questions or remarks, put them in the comments below. I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did and you want more like this, consider liking the video or even subscribing. Thanks for watching and making it to the end. Love you all. See you soon. Bye bye.